Ladies and gentlemen, today on the program, one of the top drummers in Nashville. We're talking music, hustling, humility, and paying your dues with the magnificent Sarah Tomek. She plays with Steven Tyler, kids. That's big. Roll intro! Hello, you're listening to the John Huff Podcast. Oh, yay.
I haven't used Skype in like 10 years, and I can't get it up on my computer. So that's what I was trying to do. I don't understand. I think I always had a hard time with it.
I think Skype's been a real problem for a long time. How are you this morning, Sarah Tomek?
Good. Just getting to it, doing my chores.
Chores, really?
And yeah. You know, when you're home, you like to get everything done at the house. So I have a big painting excursion on my list of things to do for today. I'm very excited.
What an exotic life you lead.
I know. It's all smoke and mirrors, really.
It actually is, isn't it? So I was lucky enough to catch you on a little break from the road. Is that true?
It is. Yeah, this summer actually for me has been a little down, actually. I'm kind of it's kind of weird because I don't think I've been this slow in 8 years, but I was out with Maggie Rose pretty hard this spring. So we're looking into the fall. And yeah, just kind of some downtime at home in the summer. In the 95 humid summer of Nashville.
Oh, man.
Love it.
Do you really?
No.
No. See, I didn't tell you this, but I'm in Canada.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm sort of smack dab in the middle between Toronto and Detroit, if you can picture that. And we've been waiting for summer to arrive.
Yeah.
So yesterday, it actually almost felt warm. Before the rain came. That's what happens.
Yeah, my two bandmates in Loving Mary are from Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago we had to pack for Denver where it was snowing.
Right.
And then for Jupiter, Florida, where it was 90 degrees.
Where it was hell.
And, yeah, it was and it was a crazy, red eye overnighter. So we did 2 shows in 30 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's great, right?
But I like Canada. I don't know why you guys get such a bad blame,
What sort of blame do we get? What are we not hearing?
Blame Canada.
That's right. Well, you know what? A lot of us have turned off the American news in the past few years.
I don't blame you.
So whatever you guys are saying about us, most of us haven't heard it.
I'm done with that.
So this is an enormous treat for me, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's this show is relatively new, and when I decided I was going to do it, which interesting is because I had some downtime in my own schedule, and I just had a month where I wasn't playing with anybody, and I thought now's the time to start a podcast. And yours was one of the first names I thought of to be on it.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I'm honored.
Yeah, absolutely, because I really love your story, and I think you're an inspiration.
Thank you.
And so I actually managed to get you, which is really a treat, so wonderful.
Yes.
I actually met you in Toronto. I think it was 3 years ago on a Steven Tyler gig where you were playing the Sony Center.
Right on.
And I was playing in a rock band at the time, and for some reason, my singer knew somebody who ran Steven's VIP events. And so they needed 2 people to come in and work that, right? So wristband people and catch all the ladies that faint and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so somehow Jen and I wound up being those people, and so we got to come down and do that. And when it was over, they came to me and said, "Do you guys want to stay for the show?" Which we said yes. and they handed us 2 full access backstage passes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So this was a friend of
a friend of a friend of a friend of a bandmate.
That's so badass.
I don't know how it happened. I just know it did. So I got to stand side stage at this gig and watch you play the drums from 10 feet away for an hour and a half, which was such a great learning experience and just a cool thing to be able to do.
Oh, thank you.
And then I talked to you after, and you don't remember that, and that's okay. But it was just really amazing, actually, not just to talk to you, but to get to watch Steven Tyler operate backstage.
Oh yeah,
because people don't realize that the demands on him just don't stop, do they?
No, I mean, you're not a rock star. You're an icon.
Yeah.
And he likes to be in the driver's seat, and he likes that responsibility of controlling his ship. So with that, yeah, and everybody wants a little piece of it. A little piece of that action. Just with that much fame, you just. Yeah, there comes a lot of that.
I found it amazing that even backstage, that guy, there was no peace. Like, people were lined up backstage to get to him, And he was so gracious with everybody. It was amazing.
Yeah, he's super cool.
I was very impressed.
It's like, for me, I was a huge, huge Aerosmith fan, as a kid, and damn it, he was on my ceiling when I was 13 years old. He knows it. It's fine. I could say it. I just love those records. From the 70s to Get a Grip. It's just like that. And after that, all the stuff that Marty Fredrickson did, the Just Push Play record, and
sure,
I was such a huge fan. So the way it all came to be is just still nutty to me. And I was just texting with Steven the other day because I was down in Muscle Shoals recording some new Maggie Rose material, some of the original Swampers. And his signature was, by the Neve console in Studio A. And I texted him the picture, and I'm like, hey, this signature looks familiar. And he's like, you're in Muscle Shoals? I was like, yeah. He knew right where I was. And, he's still got somewhat of a childlike innocence about him. And I think that's really special after doing it for 50 years.
Oh, yeah.
And, to get excited to go to Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And, he did a tune with Nuno Betancourt for, I guess, the Muscle Shoals compilation.
Wow.
I think that came out last year. But, yeah, he's still just excited to do it. And it's like, if you could just take that energy and put it in a bottle, and hopefully I could save it till I'm 70, then...
Right.
God bless.
I noticed that too. Like, even after the show, he was just way up high. Like, it was really inspiring.
Yeah. And this whole solo career was something different for him too. Like,
for
sure. How terrifying it is for me as a drummer. The man has had such a career, but he's never played with another drummer before.
Wow.
On the road. So, think about that in my mind, like, just trying not to pee my pants up there.
Was it scary? Like, in the beginning, was it scary?
Yeah, it was terrifying. Of course, like he kind of comes into the room and you just feel it. And I'm like, oh my God, he's real.
Wow.
Like this human, he's human. And, he just loves to try new things. Hey, play this. Can you do this? Do this. Blah, blah. And he's mouthing drum fills to me in a live show.
Oh, wow.
Most every night. And I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. Yeah. But yeah, it was crazy. And now it's just fun. And I miss it.
I bet you do. A lot of people don't realize that he himself is a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
I've been in this situation before too, where I've played with people who other band members are drummers, maybe better drummers than I am. And that's a weird situation for me to be in. Now, I'm not saying Steven Tyler's a better drummer than you, but man, playing behind a drummer who is an icon like that's pressure.
Yeah, it is. It was worth every moment, though.
I bet.
I mean, it only made me better. And, then I get into other nervous or tense scenarios live or whether it be in the studio. And I'm just like, okay, I can get past this quickly. You know, what the things I've already done, you know, it's just like gives you a little more confidence, I
bet it
guess,
does.
in those scenarios now.
Yeah. I never even thought of that, but you're damn right. Like what are you going to fall into that's bigger than that? That's higher pressure, higher stakes than that, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So I love the story of how you got the gig with Steven Tyler. If you can stomach telling it one more time, would you tell it to my audience?
Yeah. Marty Fredrickson has started this band, Loving Mary. Marty Fredrickson has written such songs like Jaded for Aerosmith, and he produced a lot of their records and was really good friends with Steven. And I guess they were writing in Nashville, and, you know, Marty wanted to put together this band for Steven. And I actually recorded with Maggie Rose that day at Marty's studio, which is Quad Studios. It's since changed names, but it's a very, very famous studio in Nashville, Tennessee. Linda Ronstadt recorded there. You know, it's the Neve console that Neil Young's Harvest was recorded on is there. It's an insane sounding drum room, by the way.
I bet.
Just a little plug for Marty. Yeah, it's amazing. And I was recording that day with Maggie, and my buddies throw like a rock and roll night. At the time, it was at an Irish bar, right in, you know, off of Music Row. And they're like, come down and, you know, play an Aerosmith tune tonight. I'm like, okay, cool. And they do like, you know, more like B-sides, from the 70s and early 80s and stuff like that. And it's always a killer band. They just kind of have random guests come up and play or sing. So I'm like, cool, like I have a session. I'll just hang Midtown. And I went to the bar. I never met Marty during the session, even though I was in his studio. And then we had some drinks, and we were celebrating because like we thought the song was going to be a huge smash for Maggie, you know, having a couple of drinks. And then we go to this bar, and I sit in with this band and I play Lord of the Thighs. Nice. And that's like a B-side from Get Your Wings. I guess that's like 1974 Aerosmith. It's like an 8-minute song, kind of goes into this jam thing. We did the live version of it. And I get off the stage, and there's Marty Fredrickson standing there, just smile ear to ear.
Wow.
And he's like, hey, I'm Marty Fredrickson. I'm like, I know exactly who you are. You know? And then that was it. And that night he texted Steven. He's like, I found our drummer.
Wow.
She's awesome. And he's like, what do you mean, she? And that's history.
Tell me about the first time you're in the same room as Steven Tyler. Like in a studio or whatever.
In a studio,
or just the first time, like just the first time you got together to do this.
All right. Well, the first time was crazy because I think we were getting ready to do American Idol. I think he like came back to do the show, and he performed on it. And I don't know, it was like a big finale. And it was the first time we were going to play the new single. So we went up to Hollywood, California, to his house to rehearse. So we all roll up, and we're like in Steven's house in the Hollywood Hills, and he's got an old 70s blue Vistalite kit.
Ooh, classic.
And you know, just a good couple pieces of gear, and you're overlooking, you know, LA because you're in the hills, and it's just like these beautiful open, you know, windows, and we just kind of roll up, and he wasn't even there yet. We roll up and we set up in his living room, essentially, and then kind of just wait for him to appear. Oh. And then when he does, you know it. You just feel it, and you'd be, like he's just so excited. And yeah, the first time I met him was in his living room on his...
What's going through your mind when you're waiting for him to show up?
I hope he likes us.
Yeah. You're with friends, though, right? You're with a band that you play with.
Yeah, Loving Mary.
That helps. That helps a lot.
Yeah, and since then, I mean, it's just a massive band of awesome songwriters and just such talented players that we've backed a lot of people since then. But
sure.
Yeah, so when you have that kind of band of brothers and sisters, it's just, you're a little more confident. But yeah, I was terrified as a drummer that he wasn't going to like my playing, or, you know, again, just in your mind that he has not had a different drummer since 1973.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So when did you know that it was going to be okay?
Just the whole vibe. And when he asked us to come record on a song for his record, you know?
Yeah.
We did the Janis Joplin cover, Piece of My Heart. And we went down to Marty's studio and we recorded it. And I think when you know you're recording on the record, like, damn, he's pretty happy.
That's
you know,
great.
So yeah.
You must have gotten to know him pretty well since then.
Yeah, he's, like I said, I text him, and he's somebody I consider a friend and a mentor, and I still think it's kind of strange that I have his number in my phone, but I love him to death. How can you not?
I think it's kind of strange that I have your number in my phone.
Not the same.
Oh, it is for me. It is for
Thank
me.
you.
Do not sell yourself short. So you came up in Asbury Park, New Jersey.
Yeah, another, it's, you know, the city where music lives to Music City. Yeah. Asbury was super cool.
Home of the Stone Pony.
Home of the Pony.
Yeah.
My home away from homes. And, of course, Springsteen and Bon Jovi and, you know, all those
things.
big New Jersey bands, you know.
The thing for me is that I've never been to the Stone Pony, but I'm an enormous King's X fan.
Oh, hell yeah.
And
Jerry.
Do you know Jerry?
I don't. I know everybody else that knows him. It's one of those things.
So anytime King's X is touring, they play the Stone Pony, and I see it in their tour dates every time. So it always sticks out to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was just the original rock club in the 70s when, you know, Springsteen's singing about that venue. And it's got so much history and class, and it's right on the ocean. And I've played so many shows there. It's just, I miss it. I miss it a little bit.
Yeah. Do you still play smaller shows like that? Like little club shows or house shows or anything like that?
Yeah, what was really cool for the Maggie Rose Change the Whole Thing tour, it's like we were going from, you know, clubs from like 200 seaters to, you know, playing arenas with Kelly Clarkson.
Wow. So
yeah, that was pretty cool. And I think regardless of venue size and people in the room, something that I always did and always just knew to do is you just play your ass off regardless. Like, you have to. It's just whether there's 2 people in the room or 15,000.
Yeah.
And when you could do that, you know, people take notice of that.
Absolutely. I've had that sort of experience recently because I back a lot of artists too, and like I'm mostly a sideman, and I've had gigs recently where there weren't a lot of people, and I've always kind of found that I play even a little harder in those circumstances because my artist needs to know that I have her back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's a weird world though. As a side player, you never quite know where you might wind up.
I know. Last year was absolutely just bonkers for me.
Really?
You know, I was, like toured with Steven in, we were all over the place, North America, and then we went to Europe, and then I was living in Spain for a month with a Spanish artist, and then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was a cool year.
And you did the Seth Meyers thing too, right? Was that last year or the year before?
Yeah, that was last year. That was April.
How did that happen?
That was crazy. Actually, Kelly Peisty kind of put it in their ear that I should be an artist that they should have on the show. And then I got the call, and, you know, it was so cool because I got to promote the Steven tour that we were about to go on. And then I actually also got to promote the Maggie Rose single that we were about to put out. And it was cool being part of 2 things, but, you know, also being a sideman, like you were saying, your whole career, you're behind people the whole time. And
right.
All of a sudden you're on television and it's about you. And it's like, wait a minute.
Right.
Whoa.
I know.
It was crazy. That was pretty nerve wracking.
What was the process like there with rehearsals, or how did it all work?
It was pretty simple. Basically NBC owns the publishing. So the guys in the band have to kind of write little ditties every day. And they have like a little tracking room. And I believe it's the same rehearsal space that the Roots use for Jimmy Fallon. It's in the same building. So it's like a little Roland V kit and a couple small amps, and you're all in ears, and you're just kind of jamming out to like 30 to 60 second ditties. And then he presses record, Eli, and then he kind of saves it. And then when the show is going on, you rehearse it. And then when the show's going on, he just kind of sends that ditty to get you refreshed. There's really no charts on stage. It's easy like that.
Yeah.
And then the hardest thing about that show is that for the drummer is timing, not rushing. And then, you kind of got to, even if it's in the middle of a phrase, you kind of got to land it and let the band know, fill into it when that guest sits on the couch. You're just, that was the thing for me that was the hardest and most nerve-wracking. But yeah, what a freaking cool gig that is for those guys.
It sounds like you really got to be on your toes.
Yes, I mean, but it's like any gig, because as a drummer, you're constantly, you're trying to serve the band and the artist, the song and the tempos and the changes, on a silver platter, so everybody's comfortable. And you got new players coming in; they have to know chorus, pre-chorus. They have to know where you're going.
Yeah,
and you're just staring at like the guests going to sit on the couch, and you're boom, you have to hit that one right as they sit down. And it's just, we're constantly doing that as drummers, I guess, looking at everybody else's well-being, damn it.
and getting no credit whatsoever.
Right.
I know. It's, drummers are the best people for that reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The humility and the patience. We're very undervalued members of the band, I think.
I don't know. There's always bass players,
Oh, the poor bass players. The poor sad bass players. Do you ever pinch yourself? Do you just step back and look at all this and say, what the hell happened here?
Pretty much every day.
Really? Yeah.
I don't take anything for granted. And, I think there's just so many great musicians and players and songwriters and artists and singers. And it's like, I know there's a million kids better than me in their basement right now. And, it's luck and it's timing. It's a lot of hard work. It's getting yourself out there, playing out as much as you possibly can, getting on every record that you can get your hands on, and it's a little bit of everything to have success in this business. It's hard. Nobody will say it's easy.
Oh man. Have you had times where you thought this is just not going to happen for me?
Yeah. I mean, gosh, I was 30 before I started a full-time music career and moved to Nashville. I moved here on my 29th birthday. So yeah, I mean, I was, working for Sony Music in an office space, and at 5:15 driving to New York City and going to rehearsals or going to a gig and getting home at 3 a.m. and going to work at 9 and doing it again. And the hustle was killing me. It wasn't until Maggie Rose moved me to Nashville in 2012 that my whole world kind of opened up. I'm still in disbelief.
Well, your story is amazing. Your story is not amazing. Your story is inspiring. I don't want to say it's amazing because it sounds like it was an accident, and it wasn't an accident. Because you did all those things, right? You paid all those dues.
Yeah.
And you need to believe that if you pay those dues, eventually you'll get where you want to go, right?
Yes,
so
for sure.
Your story is not amazing. It's wonderful, but it's not amazing. It makes perfect sense to me because you earned it.
Thank you.
How did you hook up with Maggie?
Speaking of the Stone Pony,
yes.
she was underage drinking at the bar, and she was probably 19 with a fake ID, and our band was playing. And she had been writing with the singer at the time. She had been big roots in Asbury Park, even though she's from DC, and hadn't even moved to Nashville yet. She was 19 years old. So the singer of the band's like, hey, can we get this girl up on stage with us? And I think we did like a cover song or something. We're like, yeah, sure. And she was great. And I think she did like an original too, maybe herself. And then we hung out a little bit after the show. She was there with her business partner. And then fast forward, I guess, several years later, I was playing a gig with BB Buell. I was down in Seminole Casino in Florida. We were playing a gig, and her business partner was there. And as soon as I walked in the room, he's like, oh my God, Sarah Tomek? And I was like, yes. He's like, do you remember Margaret Rose? And I was like, I did. I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm working with her. She moved to Nashville. I need you to come and audition for her new manager and producer.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, sure, dude. And he's like, we need to have lunch tomorrow and discuss this. And I was like, right. Meanwhile, I'm lying to my job saying I'm working from home. I'm in Florida.
Awesome.
I'm working on my computer and I have a half-hour break. I can go meet him. So I go down and have a pina colada for lunch,
Right.
And he sells me on this story I need to come and audition for Scott Simon, who's a huge manager. He managed Tim McGraw.
Nice.
And James Stroud, who is a monster drummer and producer, big hits in the 90s from Nashville. And he's like, yeah, you gotta do this. And I did it. And then 2 weeks later I had to move and quit my job and start tour.
That's intense.
I know.
I mean, 2 weeks, you've changed your life entirely. It's amazing.
And my boyfriend at the time wasn't really thrilled, but
I bet.
it all worked out.
You just never quite know when opportunity will knock, do you?
And that's the whole thing. There weren't many people at that show. And just to give it all, your all the time is my thing.
I've heard this story so many times from different people that they played a gig, there was nobody there, there's two people, and one of those people turned out to be the key to their whole career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so easy to feel discouraged and almost phone it in on a show like that. And that's the biggest mistake you can make.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know who's watching.
You don't know who's watching. And I love the way the synchronicities have lined up for you. But you've earned them. And I love watching this fall into place because it really gives a lot of encouragement to other people,
Yeah, thanks. I hope so. Don't say no to anything, really.
Yeah.
Everything can only help. Cross-pollinating genres, just getting out and playing as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
It's kind of more of for me, School of Hard Knocks kind of thinking than anything else.
I think it's still that way. I know we have things like American Idol that would seem to make overnight stars of people, but those stars tend not to last. It's still a business you have to grind in.
Yeah, I agree.
Like anything else, really.
Mm-hmm.
There's no secret to it. Do you feel like I hate to bring up the girl drummer thing, but have you felt extra pressure to prove yourself because of that?
Oh, 110%.
Yeah.
And I think since I've had a little bit of success the last couple of years, it doesn't bother me anymore. It's not a component of my playing because I have so much more confidence. But as a young girl, yeah, I had so much to prove. Hit harder, play faster, It's still a man's business for sure.
Yeah.
And as a young girl trying to get my rock band gigs, it's double standards were everywhere. And of course it was difficult, but you have to play it, use it as power, play it to your benefit, if that makes sense. And just show everybody they're damn wrong,
Yeah. You have certainly, I get frustrated by this a little bit. So my primary drumming mentor is a female drummer.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Her name is Dale Ann Brendan, and she's fabulous, and she's Canadian, and she's toured with Randy Bachman and people like that.
Super.
And so I've had something of an insider's view on this, and
right.
Dale can play circles around anybody I know, and she's terrific. So for me, it's just she's a drummer,
Yeah. Well, it's a funny thing when people would come up to me and say, you're a greatest girl drummer, or you're a great girl drummer. Maggie goes, actually, she's the fourth best drummer in the world.
Well, who are the first three?
I don't know, but that's great. It's just the funniest thing ever,
Oh, good for Maggie, I say, because that stuff's got to stop. And I don't know, because your playing is fabulous. Like I watched you from 10 feet away. It was an education.
Oh, thank you. That's crazy.
No, but it's true. Like, yeah, and you're modest, and I love that about you. But, yeah, I mean, you're a hell of a player, and people realize that. It was a cool thing because your Modern Drummer feature had just come out not too long before I actually met you. And so I loved that. And then, hey, do you want to go watch her play? Yes, I do. Yes. Oh, Steven Tyler's there too? That's nice.
I recall that being a rather good show too. Because again, we have two bandmates that are from Toronto.
Yes.
So that's a big deal for them to come home with an icon like that.
Oh, that feels great, I'm sure. And then I'm watching your Instagram and you're hanging out with Mick Fleetwood and people like that.
Oh yeah, Mick, my friend. Yeah, no big deal.
Your buddy Mick? Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, that was crazy to get to play alongside of him. Like, who do I think I am? I really, it's crazy. It's all crazy.
It's great. I love this.
Yes.
Because it means it's possible.
I know it is.
You know, the music, the arts in general can make you feel like it's impossible, right?
Yes.
And
but don't stop. Don't ever stop.
Don't stop. You too can play the same stage as Jerry Gaskell from King's X.
That's right.
Talk to me about being on the road. What do you like about being on the road?
Sorry, my dog is being a pain in the butt right now.
I have my cats locked 2 rooms away.
I know. I'm trying to lock her outside, but then she cries because we haven't gone on our walk yet. You know?
Oh, I'm sorry.
She basically controls my life. My dog is a female named Ringo, if you get any insight for that.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, I mean, being on the road, geez. I just love the element of playing live.
Yeah.
It still gets me going, and the audience response and that energy that you connect with the audience. There's just nothing like it.
Yeah.
You know, the studio is just a different animal. Yeah, I just have to probably say it's just that energy, that vibe in live, the seeing where you're going to go, going to new places with your band members or exploring, taking chances. I like that about the live element.
The road for me, for the little bit of touring I've done, what I find really interesting about it is that everything is in this present moment. You know what I mean? There's no tomorrow, there's no yesterday. It's like you have to be on what's happening in front of you right now.
Yeah.
And it's a different way to live than most people live.
Yeah, I agree.
What's hard for you out there?
It's just it's funny and it's humbling, but it's like, going from, you can go to 5 stars to being in a sprinter.
Yeah.
Like being in a private jet and now you're in a van for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And it's all of those things that keep you humble, and it's just life. I mean, that's just the way music in this business is. And it's just, I think the hardest thing is like those crazy travel days or the red eyes, and then you're literally not sleeping like we just did a couple weeks ago, and you're going from Denver to Florida. The one flight got canceled. We're all ready to kill each other, I think, maybe a little bit. and then, finally getting to the gig, and you got to go right into sound check. And then, especially for the singers, the lack of sleep and just having to have your game on the whole time.
Yeah.
I think that can get a little, the wear and tear of it can get a little weird sometimes.
How long do you typically go out for? Like, does Steven do marathon tours, or is it reasonable?
Yeah, I mean, he's 70 years old. He's singing everything in the original key.
Amazing.
So he needs to take vocal rests for 2 days in between shows. So when we went out, it's for months at a time.
That's tough. It's tough to be away for that long.
It is.
Yeah, it's that's an interesting life.
It is. It's the gypsy way,
Yeah, you're still like a traveling band of minstrels, right? Even if you're in private jets.
Yes. Like, who chooses this? Like, what? We're crazy, Maggie and I would say that to each other. We did 180 dates in 9 months, and pull the curtains in the bus and like, what are we? We are crazy, Like,
it takes a certain mentality.
Yeah, for sure.
I have not had that pleasure. I only ever go out for a few weeks or a month or whatever. And it's all like sprinter. It's all like, there's.
I like that. I like being home and coming. And I think for artists and musicians alike, there's something in your brain that you need to come home. You get depressed literally when you get off the road. You need to, when I come home, I like to play in dirt and garden and be with my dog. And I always have a new project on the house. I need to be constantly creating and working with my hands, but it's like, it is a drug, but it's also nice to do those couple week tours, come home, have some downtime, regroup, go back out. I like that.
I think it's a weirdly accelerated lifestyle. Like when you're out playing and touring, it's because everything's new every day, and it's like the time warp is weird because you look at a show that was 5 days ago and it feels like it was a year ago.
I know.
And so there's this weird acceleration, and then it just stops. You're home.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute, I don't fit in real life.
I know. Especially in those winter months when it's cold in Nashville and everybody's looking for work and everybody's afraid of the next year. There's always like that. I forget what they call it. There's like a name for that here, and everybody feels it when they're, it's January or February. Everybody's looking for work. What's the next thing going to be? And you just have to let it happen. It's going to happen.
Is there like a camaraderie, or is it competition in Nashville?
I think that if anything, maybe the studio is a little more competitive.
Is it? Because
the older you get, the more you kind of want to get off the road and have a family and you want to have kids. And I think that's maybe a little more competitive than, say, the road thing. But I know everybody in the world has to know that so many damn people are moving to Nashville. They were saying like 80 a day.
Oh, wow.
So with that and that younger generation, there's people that want to work cheaper and you're going to get what you pay for. But we have come into that a little bit in the last couple of years. But again, you get what you pay for. You get for that. You get that experience of a player.
Right.
And if you want it, then that's what you got to go for.
I suppose you're in the good position of having a rep now and all of this experience, so you're probably okay. I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like I'm the last person to take care of myself. So
Really?
You always got to rework your biography and photos, and of course, being a female and me being into style and being with Steven so long, style and fashion, and that is half of it. Like that for him. I mean, that is Steven. So there's still, you have to constantly, even when you're off the road and you're not playing or shedding, there's other things that you have to be doing to keep your career going.
It's still a business, right?
110%.
Yeah.
And you're self-employed,
Yeah.
So
and if you
better work.
If you don't play, you don't eat.
That's it.
That's a scary thing. Like if for somebody like me who is not at your level, that's a really scary thing.
I know. It is, but it's also kind of cool having to go to work at 11 a.m. and not taking a train into Manhattan for 2 hours and coming back to New Jersey, that commute thing. And, there's pros and cons to everything, but we get to do what we get to do. And damn, we're pretty lucky.
Was it always music or bust for you?
Yeah. I mean, even when I had the 9-to-5 job, I was still playing in several bands in Manhattan and doing that whole commute. And, it's not so much a choice. I think it's just kind of embedded in your genes and your blood that you don't choose it. It kind of chooses you, kind of thing,
It asks a lot of you though, doesn't it?
It does.
It demands that you hang in there sometimes.
Yes.
I've had lots of conversations with people about this because I'm a little bit older than your typical working indie musician, but I play with a lot of people now who are in their 30s and are reaching that point where it's like, are we going to do this or are we not going to do this?
Yeah, it's scary,
Yeah, it really is because, I don't know. The people who are going to do it are going to do it, I guess, but what it demands of you is pretty intense.
I know.
But you did it. You're fine.
I did it. I'm ready to retire. I've had a couple good years, Bye.
Well, now that you have had access to Steven Tyler's house and stuff, you figure just move in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You know what? He should give me one of his houses.
One of his houses.
I'll take the Rolls Royce too. Thanks, ST.
I don't know. Are you a Rolls Royce kind of girl? I wonder.
No, but we went drum shopping and it was just me and him. It was our little date.
Oh, how fun is that?
And it was terrifying because he was like, you drive my car. And then he threw me his Rolls Royce keys. And I was like, no.
Wow.
And we're driving into Forks in a Rolls Royce with Steven Tyler to buy drums. And of course, all the guys there in Nashville. It's a really cool, the drum shop in Nashville.
Sure.
Also, we have Nelson Drum Shop now. That's new. That's super cool as well. But yeah, we went to Forks and to buy drums and walking in with him. And he's playing everything, and we're in a white Rolls Royce. It's not like we were trying to be incognito.
He's always so subtle, Steven Tyler.
Yeah, that's the first word that I think of.
He's a real background sort of a person. What's it like walking around in public with Steven Tyler? Like, he can do that?
It's cool. It's like you're almost protective of him, and you block photos, and
really,
it's so much on him all the time that we kind of surround him, and we just almost protect him in a way.
Yeah.
You're like a pack of wolves.
Band of brothers and sisters, gypsies.
That's right.
I guess for him, it's just life, right? It's like it's always been this way.
Yeah, longer than it hasn't.
Yeah. It's just so odd. It's just a weird life.
He loves it. He is Steven Tyler.
That's evident. Yeah, he's as you say, he's an icon. So what's coming up for you, Sarah Tomek? This is about you.
Really exciting stuff. We started the process in Muscle Shoals for Maggie Rose's new record.
Great.
So I got to play with an original Swamper on bass. Got David Hood on bass, and it's crazy. Like, he's been on like most every record, and just the vibe of that room and all the history of that place, and got amazing cats on the first 4 songs. Working with a new producer. I wouldn't even say up and coming, because he's done some pretty badass stuff, but Ben Tanner. And that's just really exciting. My husband and his band, Them Vibes, they have basically been Maggie's co-writers on 75% of the material. So it's a super family-oriented thing that we're doing. And, going in the studio, playing a song that, my husband probably wrote about us fighting is a little weird, but we got to get through it. And it's just been amazing. And we cut 4 songs completely from the bottom up in 2 days. And then, we're going to finish this record. I don't know if she wants to finish it there, but we have some pretty magical stuff. We literally just did that Tuesday and Wednesday of last week. So I'm super excited about that. And then Them Vibes is going to go in June, and we're going to do 4 more cuts on that. And then other than that, we're just kind of going out with Maggie, just doing, the Weekend Warrior stuff through August with her, and then looking to pick up something big in October.
How do you juggle all of this, schedule-wise?
I don't know.
Just take it as it comes?
Yeah. That's all we can do, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
And then I always feel so bad for Maggie. It's like I was with her forever, and then you get a call from Steven Tyler, and you have to take that.
You kind of do.
She was not offended. She cried and was so happy for me.
That's sweet.
That's a good friend.
It is, because as a side player, saying no usually means you're done.
Yeah, I know, right?
Mind you, if you're saying no for Steven Tyler, it's not so bad. What's on your bucket list? What have you not done that you want to?
God, I want to play Red Rocks.
Oh, yeah.
I want to play Madison Square Garden.
Oh.
So those are 2 of my bucket list venues, for sure.
That seems likely to happen.
Yeah, I would love to play with Brandi Carlile.
Oh,
I
cool.
love her.
Awesome.
Damn it.
Does she know that? Have you reached out?
We met years and years ago.
Did you?
Before I was doing anything, before I even lived in Nashville, and I told her, I think I should play drums for you. Of course, as a fan, I don't think she took me very seriously, but damn it, I mean it.
Oh, she'll take you seriously now.
I know, right? So just try to get bugs in her ear. And, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure Brandi Carlile is a big fan of my show, so she's going to hear this.
Of course.
You know?
Better, yeah.
So, in fact, I could probably get her people on the phone, so.
Yeah, you should do that for me. I would really appreciate it.
I would happily do that for you. Of course, I also want to play with Brandi Carlile, so. I feel like you're ahead of me on that pecking order.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I do.
Canadians are nicer. I don't know.
Oh, but you have to be a good hanger. You wouldn't have lasted this long.
It's true. Hang is half of it.
So I'm learning, yeah. Yeah, I've seen some compelling hangs over the last few years.
I bet you have.
Out here in Sprinter World.
That's right.
I actually just I released an episode recently with a drummer called Jason Tate. He's a Canadian guy, but he plays for Bahamas. Do you know Bahamas?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the drummer for Bahamas, and he was talking about playing Red Rocks.
Oh, so cool.
And Sydney Opera House and some of these stunning venues. He's just a dude from Winnipeg, and he goes home and he sets up his tent in the woods and he's like, what just happened?
Yeah.
God. So oh man, I'm a long, long way from those venues, but yeah, that would be something else.
Don't say that. You never know.
Oh, anything is possible. Absolutely. But it's like, this is what I've said to people, is that the opportunities that music presents to people are really, really something.
Yeah.
Even go ahead.
It's an experience, it's different than anything I know.
I mean, even for me, at the level I'm at, music gave me watching you from 10 feet away. You know what I mean? Like, among many other things, it's like, wow. Like I know people who are reluctant to push a little further or scared or not self-confident enough to try. And I just keep saying to them, look at these opportunities that await you, The
only person that can hold you that can hold you back is you.
Yes.
And fear is a incredible thing, specifically for artists. You gotta keep going. It's like we just said, keep going.
You've had to push through some heavy stuff, I bet. I mean, not just Steven Tyler, but moving to Nashville, all that stuff. It takes nerves of steel, right?
Do something that scares you today. Get out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Push yourself.
Yes.
Only good can come of it.
The wisdom of Sarah Tomek. I absolutely agree that everything you want is on the other side of what you fear.
Oh, beautiful.
I really believe that, and I've lived that. I'm learning that, and it's so true. And fear is such an illusion. You're capable of so much more than you realize.
Yeah, agreed.
And I have to remind myself that all the time. So, I didn't plan this, but it's a nice segue into the big 3 questions that I do at the end of each episode.
All right.
Because this is actually supposed to be something of a motivational podcast.
I love that.
Good. So the first question I ask everybody is, what are you trying to improve about yourself right now?
Are we talking like morality or are we talking drumming?
Anything you want to say that you're trying to improve?
No. I have been honestly uninspired because I did have such a massive year last year, and I've been in a little bit of a funk since February, and I haven't been playing or shedding. And this whole Muscle Shoals thing with Maggie Rose has really put me back on track. So I think just shedding and learning to really love the drums again.
Wow.
Like for drum's sake, and practicing. And I think that is what it is for me right now.
What do you practice?
Just rudiments, basic reading, the Nashville number system is super easy. The number system here for reading, and it's definitely not rocket science. But you always got to kind of keep up with that education.
Yeah.
And just, knowing when you're starting to go for the same thing every time and you don't feel like you're moving away or being creative anymore, then you got to kind of I always look to records. I found the new Death Cab stuff. I love his playing, Jason.
Do you know him?
No, I don't, actually.
The funny thing is, I hate to interrupt you. The funny thing is, just before I made this call, I was sort of scrolling Instagram and 2 Jason McGurr videos popped up on Instagram. And it's just him doing those wacky rudiments that he does and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's one of my favorite players. I absolutely love his playing.
Yeah, he's amazing.
I can't do any of it, but I really love it. I've taken a lot of inspiration from him on some of the parts I've written for people.
Yeah, he's just so musical.
Yeah.
That whole band is really it's like playing the records again, like you were when you were a kid, like all of those things, you know?
Yeah, it's easy to burn out, especially if you play as much as you do.
Yeah. So it's just, that is my thing right now, just getting back on track with that, falling in love again with drums.
That's wonderful. That's a great thing. The second question I always ask, and we've already probably touched on this, is what are you most excited about right now?
Again, I think I'm just like right in the present as I'm just looking at it. I'm most excited about this Muscle Shoals record.
Good.
With Maggie, absolutely.
That's exciting. It's nice to have something that you're really looking forward to.
Yeah, and that you feel like you're just a part of more so than just a hired gun.
That is something I desperately miss about being in a band.
Yeah, that's what it always... And Maggie's one of my best friends, so that helps, but it feels like that.
Yeah, because I don't get to write for anybody anymore, and I don't own anything. It's the hard part about being a sideman for me.
I know it.
So, hey, good for you. That's exciting. The last question I ask is, what is your message for my audience, Sarah Tomek? And I always say Sarah Tomek, no matter who I'm talking to.
It's just like we were talking about. It's keeping the hustle going and not succumbing to fear, because that is what you put on yourself. And just getting out there and playing with everybody and doing the late night shifts, doing the bar gigs, just taking every call you can and playing different music. I think that's what it is. Just keep going. Keep the hustle.
Keep the hustle. Some people, there's a saying I like. It says that success is sometimes the result of a happy accident, but you can do a lot to make yourself accident prone.
Amazing.
Does that make sense?
Didn't that painter, what's his face, Happy Trees?
Bob Ross?
No accident. Yeah, Bob Ross. Wasn't that one of his things? Yeah.
It may have been. A squirrel told him that. Yeah. All right. So keep the hustle going.
That's it.
And you can do it.
Do it.
All right. I'm going to let you go, and I so appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much.
John, thank you so much, man. It was great to meet you like the second time, because now I remember.
Oh, good. I'm glad. You will never forget my name.
That's right. And you let me know when you're in Nashville, and I'll let you know when I'm coming to Toronto.
Please do.
Cheers to you. Thanks for having me, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you once again, gentle listener, for taking in today's show. Thank you as well to Sarah Tomek for being such an awesome guest. If you want to know more about my guests, go to www.john-huff.com. That's JOHN-HUFF.com. You can also find the show on Facebook at The John Huff Podcast. If you're an Apple Podcasts person, please do me a favor and leave a rating and review of the show, just like the Dachshund lovers. Thank you, Lori. I really appreciate that. That's all the time we have for this week, but I'll be back very soon. Until then, keep your wits about you, and remember, good things happen when you put yourself out there. Bye for now. That was perfect. Do it again.